What up, y'all? You tuned in to the 52 Scott Podcast, and welcome to this edition of Black Friday. I'm your host, Slash, and with me I got Comedian 96, K Money, and Freddie G. Together, we the Mind of Men. Don't forget to like and subscribe, plus follow us on Twitter, 52 Scott Podcast, on Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast. All right, and welcome back to another Black Friday. Got a great topic for you today. I was raised in church, from a very young age. I used to go to Sunday schools. I sold the newspapers on the church stairs. My mom just basically instilled, Jesus and prayers and, everything about religion that most black folks are into. And there's a lot of different religions, of course, and I'm from the Baptist end, and there are different beliefs, of course, in all different religions. There's a lot of different beliefs, but I believe that there is a God, and being righteous means being in the ways of God, meaning helping people when needed, not expecting nothing when you give to somebody. These are the things that we were taught. So lately, in the headlines, there's been a pastor being criticized for some things that he mentioned, and I'm going to play a small clip of what he said, and then we'll go further into this topic. So take a listen.
Multiplication is segregated for tithes and offering. When you give to the poor, the only thing you do is help them, but you don't help yourself. So when you give $1 to somebody on the street talking about I did my job, God like, thank you, but it ain't gonna help you.
So basically what Pastor Keon Henderson said was giving to the poor or somebody on the street is not going to benefit you other than what you gave them. You'll only get back what you give. And now here's my thing about this. And I don't know if y'all agree with this or not, but I know that giving to somebody, I'm not expecting to get nothing back in the first place.
Right. Yeah, you're not doing it to gain notoriety or anything like that. You're just doing it out the kindness of your heart.
Exactly. And I think under the ways of God is meant to help people in need. If you're able to, then that is a blessing that you can be to somebody else.
Exactly.
Yes. Has nothing to do. Now, this turned into tithing with the church and giving money to the church. Now, I'm not saying that not to tithe. Yeah, because the church need money, because the church needs to run as, it should. It should have air conditioning. It should have lights. It should have the musicians if necessary. And this is so when you come to church, you can enjoy church the way church is supposed to be enjoyed, right, which tithing covers that. But to tell a congregation to not help the poor, I think is misguiding the sheep.
It is. I agree with that. That's just how. Okay, it clearly says that you're supposed to help the poor. Somebody that is poor than you in the Bible.
Right.
So why would you? To me, it seems like it's a scheme to make you give the money to the church instead, or to him.
Right. Because this is his congregation.
Exactly.
So you telling your congregation, don't give to the man on the street that's asking for $1. Yeah. He don't need it. I need it. Mm-hmm. This is what you're saying.
You can hear the people wooing in the audience.
But see, they just wooing and oohing because they ready to say, okay, he's right. And a lot of them said it. And then he tell you, read your Bible. Where in the Bible does it say don't help somebody when they need help? Where is that? Because you got to preach that now. If that's in the Bible, I don't know where it's at.
I hadn't found that where you're not supposed to help the poor.
He went into some stuff, in the Bible, but that still deterred away from what he said. What he said was, do not give to the poor. The only thing you're going to benefit from giving to the poor is what you gave them.
I'm looking clearly at Deuteronomy 15:4. It says, save when there shall be no more poor among you, for the Lord shall greatly bless thee in the land. Clearly, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess. So I don't understand that. If it clearly say God will bless you greatly for helping the poor.
And Proverbs 19:17 says, "He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he hath given will he pay him again."
See, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that kind of contradicts what Pastor Henderson is saying.
It definitely contradicts what the man was saying. And I don't know what the issue or reason for him saying that, but it's been so much going on with this church for a while. I think he's preaching in a sense of timing for himself, is what I'm trying to say, because the Hurricane Burrow came and caused millions of dollars of damage to his churches and schools and campuses that he have, and I think that his preachings is to recoup monies for that, and if this is something that is government approved, then you don't have to pay. Your congregation shouldn't have to pay to fix the church or the schools or none of this other stuff, to be honest, because what is the federal government out here for?
Right.
They already allowing you to act as a business and not pay nothing.
Here's what I'm trying to understand. So, if I'm not mistaken, that actual sermon was preached almost a year ago, right?
Right.
Correct.
Next month will make a year.
Correct, November.
But for some reason, it's trending now. That is starting to pick up, starting to trend. And what's bringing it back around? I'm curious to know what is bringing it back around.
So what I think is bringing it back around is because there were some issues, and he preached in his church about the Lord blessing him for, X amount of millions of dollars, and then some kind of way, 4-point-something billion dollars, or some sort of amount, a large amount of money was given to him and the church through his, congregation, members, and friends around the world. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why this is coming back, but I think what people are starting to see is that he's preaching from a place of prosperity for himself. I think this is what the issue is, because I find a problem with what you just said in this script that he wrote. I find a problem. I really find a problem with that. I don't care what year he said it. I don't care what he did afterward. But what you're saying, you're telling me to not help nobody because God say I'm not going to benefit from it. No. If I have it in my heart to help somebody on the corner because I got it, then allow me to do that as willing.
Allow you to bless somebody else.
Let me do that as willing as possible.
And that's also like sowing a seed, correct?
It's sowing a seed. Whether or not I'm expecting nothing from this, God see that blessing. He said that God's going to see that and be like, okay.
He said it's just going to be a 1-for-1. You give $1, you will get $1 back.
And see, that kind of shut down the works of God to me, because you don't know what the Lord going to bless me with for helping somebody.
So, Comedian 96, you said he was saying like a 1-for-1. Yeah. So, let's be clear.
He said, go ahead.
Let's be clear. He didn't actually say it like you get $1, you give it back. That's just the way it was delivered.
Right.
You're giving an example of how he delivered it, what it sounds like to you.
Correct. Because the way he said it, he was saying he's not going to really bless you if you give you're just going to get what you gave. And that's it.
What his intention for us to believe, I think, was giving abundantly in tithing gives you back abundantly in blessings. That's not the right word to preach. I understand giving and tithing. Yes, tithing. Okay, that's good. And yes, God will give you back 10 times fold. And that's fine. But don't say don't give to the poor.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing through religion is trying to help the poor. It's not about the rich people.
Right.
Exactly.
It's about helping those in need. So when you say poor people, we all poor. How many of y'all in here rich right now?
None of us.
You feel what I'm saying? So
And that's crazy because I actually had a pastor to correct me because, you know how you go to the corner, you drive up to a corner, and somebody come and try to wash your windows and all that. So at one point, it's probably over 20 years ago, I would not give them anything, right? But my pastor was like, because I'd be like, man, all they going to do is take it and go get some drugs, go get some beer.
He worked for it.
Right. So this is what he said. He said, here's the thing. You can't be worried about what they do. God going to handle that.
That's right.
Go ahead and bless them.
That's right.
And go from there. And then from there on, I've always...
Besides, he works
and a pastor
for it.
told me this.
Yeah.
So for another pastor to say, don't bless them, makes me think.
Yeah, I don't like the conversation that he had.
I'm surprised, I ain't gonna say I'm surprised, but Pastor Ken has a large following,
Right.
And a lot of well-known celebs follow him as well. So he definitely has the resources to get the offerings and the tithes that he's asking for. But I can see that coming from a smaller church, pastor of a smaller church that's not doing too well and doesn't have the resources that Pastor Ken has. So that's the only thing that kind of surprises me. A church of this size, a pastor pastoring a church of this size, making a comment like that.
The crazy part, not to cut you off, Freddie G, but I just want to mention the title of that particular sermon that he preached, where we took that segment from, is called All About the Benjamins. Now, what type of preacher are you to use a term that's used in, and not to go against, nothing, but this comes from rap music, All About the Benjamins.
Right.
And a movie.
Is that what God told you to name this? Because is it all about the Benjamins to who? You or God?
Exactly.
Which one are you saying this about? I take that serious what he said because I don't believe in what he said. I don't believe that you shouldn't help the poor. I believe you should help the poor as often as you can.
Yeah, because everybody has a story, and we don't know how these people ended up in the situation that they were in,
Right.
but they need help just like anybody else.
And if I help them, it's because God sent me there to help
Exactly.
these people.
Right.
Facts.
So I don't get what he was saying. I don't get his conversation. And I ain't gonna lie, I've been to his church before. I went on a New Year's, 12 at night, midnight, of course. And he preached a good sermon. But this particular one bothers me, and I'm glad it's coming back up because stuff like this need to be exposed.
I agree.
I think if you're going to be a righteous preacher, you should preach the proper way from what you get in the Bible. Because what you just told a whole bunch of people was don't get a man on the corner no money. Give it to me.
Just mislead everybody. That's what you're doing.
Put it in ties and watch how much you get back. Now are you misleading? You misleading a lot of people mind frame because everybody may not know how to take that.
And look, that poor person that you giving money to, a blessing, who knows what they may do with it. They may bring it and put it in the church and give it.
You never know.
To the church as
but here's the thing with that. At the end of the day, who are we? Meaning Pastor Keon, who are we to tell or predict how God is going to bless us for doing what we do?
Correct. Because he knows your heart.
God will bless us how he sees fit.
Right.
How many times when we look on the surface that's right there and you be like, man, I can't never win the lottery. And here it is, somebody that's 90 years old won $500 million, and they 90 years old.
Yeah.
Why come the old people win the lottery? You don't know how God is going to bless you.
You don't know what that 90-year-old did 50 years ago.
So who
to get
who
that
are
blessing
we
at
to,
90.
to Pastor Keon, who are we to say how God is going to bless us.
And here's the thing, as it's been going on for a year, finally now somebody have some way to clean up what he said. And this is what they're saying to clean up what he said. Is to be said that not substitute tithing with giving to individuals is what he meant. But that's not what you said.
That's not what he said. Yeah, that clear,
and see, that's what I'm saying.
Said.
You're not clarifying what you said. You just now trying to clean it up, saying that I'm saying don't just give to people and not give tithes. That's not what you said. You said giving to a poor person does not benefit you. Besides what you gave them, the amount of what you gave them is the amount of what you get back.
Exactly.
Now,
that's exactly what he said.
Although he's human, so let's give a little grace there. Although he's human, he's still held to a higher standard.
That's right.
And so let me give an example. We hear people all the time, or pastors. Well, yeah, some pastors would say that sin came into the world because Adam bit the apple. Mm-hmm. Well, we know that the Bible did not specify fruit. So when you hear pastors say apple, did he misspeak? Or was he intentionally trying to mislead? Mm-hmm. So, but at the end of the day, that pastor got to be held to a higher standard.
That's right. You got
to know that, okay, pastor, you should know better than to say
didn't stand up and say
an apple.
Yeah.
Because that's not what the deal is.
That's right.
You know better.
That's right. So as they cleaning up this don't give to the poor, now they're saying that their program has provided more than almost $500,000 this year in charitable stuff. But you just said that charitable don't get you nowhere. Giving to the poor don't get you no. See, you can't clean that up. Like you say, Freddie G, he's got to be held to higher standards, man. You stuff like that you don't say, and that's why it's resurfacing, because it was wrong that he said that, and somebody took an interest in putting it out there. So there's probably more to what's going on than what we can see of why this is resurfacing. I don't know what that is, but I know for the fact that telling me not to give to the poor is really not the way to do this. That's just not it, you know.
You think this is going to impact or affect his
congregation?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think it's going to impact, or I don't think it's going to affect him in no kind of way.
I think he should lose followers for that.
I'm not going to say that.
Anybody in their right mind.
And I'm going to tell you, the only reason why I don't think that it's going to, and I'm not going to impact it or put him in a heaven or hell, because I don't have one to put him in.
No. I'm talking about as far as losing followers.
He may, but considering the size of his church and the amount of people that go there, some people are not going to even care because they're going to go every Sunday to the church.
So check it out. I think it will. Let me tell you why.
Affected negatively?
I think so, yeah.
It could. Let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
See, we're just looking on the surface, and we're looking at the people that are already there. But it's clearly already affecting him. There's 4 people on this podcast that's speaking to people all over the world about this guy.
Exactly.
We're speaking to people all over the world. Now, here's the thing. There may be some people that we're speaking to right now that may have heard of him and say, I would like to visit that church one day. But after hearing this show, they may say, you know what? I don't have no interest in going to hear him preach now. Mm-hmm. What has that done? That has affected his bottom line.
Yeah.
That has affected one person that it could have potentially tied to the church.
To give to, right.
So, yes, it could affect him.
That's definitely true. I don't want to be one to fall to think that what he said is even believable. That's my thing. I don't want anybody else to believe that what he said should be believed, because that's horrible thing. That's a horrible thing to say, man. You know, you don't tell a person with a good heart to not help somebody in need. You know, when it comes down to the season we in now, Thanksgiving, Christmas, this is when you really need to have a heart
giving, real
to help somebody.
It's the season right here.
This is the season, you know, and that's going to affect a lot.
Not only that, with the homeless population going up,
Exactly.
you're saying don't help.
That's what I'm saying.
And you know what? I want to say this too, Slash, because you said something interesting. Oh, you said something that was good. You said, I don't have a heaven or a hell to put him in.
Right.
So with that being said, I want to make this clear too, that although he should be held to a higher standard, and Slash said, I don't have a heaven or hell to put him in, we still need to give him a little grace. Because he did mess up, but at the end of the day, people are going to be looking at you. People are going to be watching you. Mm-hmm. And no, we're not the ones to do any judging.
Right.
But we can be fruit inspectors, and we can see what kind of fruit you bear.
Right.
So,
and that's a really good statement, man. I just feel like if nobody helps the poor, who's gonna do it?
Right.
The government's not gonna do it.
Exactly.
And it's like you say, Comedian 96, the homeless number is driving up extremely fast, man. I mean, I don't care what corner you stop on.
Yeah, they say San Francisco is out of control right now.
And, well, California supposedly has the highest number of homeless people.
Yeah.
And that's one of the richest states, California. You got Hollywood, you know, and it's sad because nobody's helping the poor. Nobody cares about the poor. This is why our world is where it's at right now. You know why our world is where it's at right now? Mm-hmm. Because it's all about the Benjamins. Mm-hmm. What the preacher said. So if he's saying stuff like this, then you're no different than the government. You don't want to help nobody that need help. No matter how you word it and how you change it up here right now this year, after the year that you start this, no way that you can put this to clean this up. You said there is no point in you helping the poor because you don't get nothing back from it.
You know, I wonder, man. You know, a lot of people that are going through hard times, they seek out and reach out to churches for assistance.
Exactly.
I wonder, you know, if he turns away poor, making a comment like that, if a person in that predicament comes to him for assistance.
What does he say?
Yeah.
That is a good question.
Makes you think and wonder.
So Pastor Henderson, what do you do when you have an unfortunate member of your church that needs help next month or this month because they were sick, you know, couldn't make rent because they were sick for a month, took off from work, you know.
Are they not worthy?
Are they not worthy? Are you saying that these people don't deserve the help that they need so that next month they can get back on their feet?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you are adding to the homeless population by telling people what you're telling them. I think it needs to stop. I think you should be held accountable because we do feel like pastors are, because as a black person, religion is all we have. When we don't have each other, all we got is God.
You got faith.
And faith. We have to believe in something. And you telling me that the God that I listen to, that tells my heart to be the right person for somebody, I shouldn't help anybody? Nah, I can't do this one, Pastor Henderson. I'm sorry. I think it was completely against my morals, completely against respect for others.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Completely against the Bible that you preach out of and the man that you preaching for. So I think whatever you felt didn't come across the way you wanted it to, and I believe it's because you're not on the same level as normal people. You're probably not hurting for a meal or your rent paid. Why? Because they tithing, What are you doing with the tithes that you preach about? That doesn't supposed to go to your pockets. God don't need no money. What you doing with it? You know, you saying that you gave so much to these charitable things that you're doing, over almost $500,000 to these charities, but you just said that it don't pay to give to charity. Charity work don't get paid for. That's what you said. So now you want to say that you gave over 500,000, well, almost 500,000 in something charitable.
Check it out. Tax write-off.
Tax write-off. So now you get to keep the money.
Tax write-off.
So you can keep the money now. And you can do whatever you want to do with the $451,000.
Tax write-off. He's doing it to benefit to him or the church.
Yep. God not benefiting from that. I don't see it. God don't need no money. You know, I just think that this was one of those sermons from a black pastor. Because, see, when I was going to church as a child, the black pastors we had were actual preachers. You know, they preached about the right type of stuff. I ain't never heard a pastor say, don't help the man on the corner that need help. I've never heard this, bro. I've never heard don't help the poor. I've never heard. So if you're saying don't help the poor, or the poor, you don't benefit from helping the poor, he don't feel like he poor. Right. He rich. So he's filthy rich and a celebrity. So no, we not on the same level, Pastor Keon Henderson. I've been to your church and I liked what you talked about, but when you got right here, you threw me off. And it's nothing you can tell me to make me feel like I need to second guess my opinion on how I feel about what you said right now. There's no way. And this is, what's the name of his church? The Lighthouse? Yeah.
Yeah.
The Lighthouse. This is the name of his church. And I know people that go to this church faithfully.
I do too.
Listen to him faithfully.
Like I say, he has a huge following.
He's got a huge following. But this is the bottom line for me. This is where the straw. This is the last straw.
Broke the camel's back.
Broke the camel's back.
You tripping? Yeah.
That's nothing that you should say. But I'm gonna let you make it, man. You know, we're gonna give you a chance. You know, I hope the best for your congregation and your church and whatever you're trying to get out of it. I hope God sees fit to give you that. But that brings me to my black fact that we can't take back. The Reverend Raphael G. Warnock. So he practices from the historic pulpit of Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once pastored during the Civil Rights Movement. Reverend Warnock is known for passionately addressing pressing social and political issues from the pulpit, carrying on Dr. King's legacy. So shout out to Pastor Warnock and his family. Y'all come back and check us out next week. So that's going to do it for this episode of Black Friday. Hit that like button and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, The 52 Scott Podcast. On Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast. Check us out on Monday for Music Mondays. See y'all then. So all them artificial man, we do it natural from the